Hi everyone, and welcome to this NGWA Industry Connected video. Today I'm with Scott Moser, President of TDH Manufacturing and Horizon Hoist LLC in Rhome, Texas. Welcome, Scott. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Like many other companies in the water well industry, TDH, or Total Dynamic Hoist, Manufacturing and Horizon Hoist are family owned. Let's start there. Can you share the timeline of how it began and the type of pump hoist you offer?
Yeah, well, we actually formed TDH, or Total Dynamic Hoist, in November of 2017. And in Fort Worth, Texas, we just rented a 5,000 square foot shop and just had some different ideas from being in the water well industry and wanting to build and make something different in the pump hoist market. There's not much competition out there, and so just felt like there was a need for maybe some change in a pump hoist, and that's what we set out to do.
And how has the industry responded to your pump hoists, and what differentiates them from others on the market?
Oh gosh, I mean the response from everybody has been an absolute blessing. I mean, I would have never dreamed, in 4 years' time that we would have gone from a 5,000 square foot facility to a 125,000 square foot facility. We have over 40 guys now in the shop, and yeah, it's been a real blessing. Everybody's the water well industry is a tight knit, very family oriented group, and for the most part, I think everybody loves to work together and help each other out. And I feel it's the same way with even building the pump hoist. Guys get it and they talk about it. And it really, word of mouth and social media and stuff has been a blessing these days for us.
Yeah, that leads into the next question. How has seeking feedback and selling your pump hoists on social media, particularly Facebook's Water Well Guys page, been helpful for you and your company?
Oh my gosh, it's been from day one. I can remember laying at home out on the back patio on a Sunday morning. It was probably spring of 2018, and I was trying to think of some way to just get our pump hoist out there and stuff in front of everybody. And I just stumbled upon it and kind of just doing some research. And of course, you got to ask to, get accepted and everything. And got on there and just kind of started talking and showing some pictures. And, and I think at the time when I joined Water Well Guys, I think there was not quite 700 members. And gosh, I haven't looked recently, but I think it's either at 3,000 or over 3,000 members. But that hands down has been the biggest thing for us to actually just display our rigs out there and get it in front of a lot of guys and show off and make videos and just show some different things that we're trying to do on a pump hoist compared to everybody else. And our electric over hydraulics and our wireless remote and fan line counter and just some different things that we've never had in the industry before. And guys eat that up. They love to talk about it and, tell you what works for them and what don't work for them and why. And so the feedback and all that has been outstanding.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And you come from the industry. Can you share just a little bit of background on your family history in the industry?
Yeah, so I grew up on a big farm in Syracuse, Kansas, and my dad was on the farming side, and we had a lot of water wells on our farm. And my mom, her dad was a water well driller and basically more so a line shaft turbine guy, because we didn't have a lot of population in Southwest Texas or southeastern Colorado, but you had a lot of corn, cattle, and so ag was a big big sector for it. And so I always tell everybody that that growing up, I was either in a tractor with my dad or in a mud pit with my grandpa. So it was it was awesome to see both sides of it. So I think that's probably really helped me out today and just going into the business. I graduated high school and I had a couple uncles that were in the water well business. And so I went to work for them for a few years and just gained some more knowledge. And then, later on, my wife and I ended up starting up a pump business in Bridgeport, Nebraska. And we expanded from there to, we bought a gentleman out that was in Alliance, Nebraska. And then we opened a new location in Imperial, Nebraska. So at one time we had 3 locations in Western Nebraska, and we drilled a lot of irrigation wells and did a lot of line shaft turbine work was our bread and butter.
That's fun to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. And so going back to early 2021, TDH sold one of its pump hoists overseas to Saudi Arabia, according to the Waterwell Guys page.
Yeah.
Its first international sale, with possibly additional hoists being sold there. And you trained the customer in March of 2021 with the process of pulling and setting the line shaft turbines.
Yep.
Can you share how your company worked through the obstacles of an international sale and how the training went?
Yeah. So we had a company so over there. They were installing. They go in and they'll drill 4 oil wells, but they drill 2 water wells to support the oil wells in this sector that we're in. And so they were setting these line shaft turbines. They were using a crane to do it, and it was extremely slow. Just in my opinion, it makes it very hard to put together a turbine and stuff using a crane swinging around and stuff like that. And they reached out to us, and they actually flew over here and visited our facility and checked out the rig, and we got to show them some of the differences in our rig and stuff. And they sent me a bunch of video of them pulling pumps and setting pumps and some of the stuff they were dealing with. But also during that time, we were in the heart of COVID, so that added another degree of difficulty to it also. But they bought their first rig. We actually just got the PO for their second rig going to the same company over there. And then actually have another company that's starting up a dealership or a distributorship selling our pump hoist overseas in that market. So they're not only going to sell them, but they're going to service them and stuff like that. So been a crazy exciting deal. And we did all of the training and everything, virtually over a meeting just like this on a computer, because I was supposed to fly over there, me and one of my employees, and spend 2 or 3 weeks and just try and help them out with their process over there, because it was really there was new technology out there for pulling and setting pumps that I think would have really benefited them just from watching all the videos. And it was taking them 3 or 4 days to set a 700-foot line shaft turbine, and now today they're doing it in 1 day. So they really have seen the improvements of not only working with our rig, but just some of the experience that I had and what other people taught me and everything, and some of the tricks that I learned along the way to help speed it up, and tried to help them out too. And right now it's paid off, because it looks like they're going to be ordering several more rigs, because that's a big market over there.
Wow, great to hear.
Yeah.
And how have you, switching back to here in the United States, how have you kept in front of the material shortage and supply chain issues we've seen the last couple of years with COVID?
I think I'm not going to tell you that we haven't dealt with it and we're still not dealing with it. There's been several factors that have really helped us out. number one, we're probably one of the few companies where we literally build everything in-house. The only thing for the rig we buy is the cabin chassis, and we buy most of the hydraulic components from the pumps, motors, PTO, hoses, fittings, and stuff. But we manufacture all of our frames, all of our booms, all of the service bodies, the toolboxes, the winches, the outriggers, all of that stuff. We've got a pretty impressive machine shop that we started up from scratch that we just keep adding to. And so we machine all of those components. And so with that being in-house and me having control of that, as long as I can get raw materials, which has been a little bit more difficult, we've had to stock more material than, we probably normally would have in a normal environment or economy. But the benefit is we've got a lot of material here to work with, and we're staying on top of it. So since day one, we have not had to park or stack a rig or a truck because we didn't have parts. We dang sure had to work around some builds, waiting on some stuff, and has created a few delays and stuff like that. But I think anybody over the last year and a half that has dealt with this, I know the water well guys are having supply issues with, motors and pumps, and everybody's going through it. So just something we're going to have to work together and get through.
Right. And, you bill yourself as technology made simple. We're curious how the brainstorming that's gone into some of the technology advancements you've put on these pump hoists. You said the feedback you've gotten from guys on social media has helped, but curious, where else have you gotten your ideas and for these advancements and of making it simple for the industry?
Well, that's the cool part is, obviously, I feel some of the ideas, things that, I brought to the table just from being in that industry. Let's use an example, a sand line counter. Anybody that's ever ran a sand line much, excuse me, you realize that when you run up and down a hole that you're either putting tape on the cable to see where the bottom is, or if you're fishing out something, or you're spraying paint mark on it, so you're always trying to watch it and stuff. And, we've got an option on ours where it actually shows you on the screen where the sand hook is at all times down in the hole. And it's extremely accurate. It works really well. And just some things like that. And it just makes the process of bailing a whale way faster, because you always know where your cable or your hook is at all times. When you're getting close to bottom, you can slow down, and you see that on the screen. You can use that to check the total well depth, so it's that accurate and stuff. And so the electric over hydraulics, obviously, we've got a panel on the back. And from the get-go, we got some pushback at the beginning of, putting electronics on a rig. Guys were, they were optimistic about it, because, a lot of times people say, all it's going to do is break and give you problems and all of that stuff. And I'm not going to say we haven't had any issues with it, but with as many rigs as we've sold and built, it's been a very minimal. And I think that the benefits that everybody gets from it has been over the top. And I feel that's been a big part of our success. We'll still build a simple rig that's more the Horizon Hoist, but 8 out of 10 guys still today, they prefer to build a decked out Cadillac TDH with all the fancy stuff on it, rather than just having an old, manual style rig. So it's been received really well. So we've been blessed with that for sure.
Yeah. I'm curious which of the features, it might be hard to narrow it down, but which of the features is your favorite that you offer?
I really think that the difference on our pump hoist is, you're grabbing on. I'll give you an example. Years ago, everybody in the industry had a backhoe or a mini excavator that had big joystick levers that were running a manual valve bank and everything. And, you kind of had to set up over the top of them and in an uncomfortable position. You're operating that all day. And now you get into these backhoes and these mini excavators, and they got these little bitty joystick controls, that it looks like somebody's playing one of the video games or whatever. And I think probably our control panel is what I'm most proud of. Is you have a ton of control with it. We can vary the speed of our winches, and being able to have the sand line counter and have the pulling weight indicator on there, and just some of the safety factors that it brings in. Guys cannot raise the mast on our rig until they go and accept on the screen that they have checked for overhead power lines, to make sure it's clear. The mast won't raise up. You can't operate the rig until the operator says that the area is clear and it's ready to go up. So the control panel and the hydraulic system is definitely what I'm most proud of.
And we just recently finished up Groundwater Week 2021 in Nashville, and coming out of that, the response was again well received at TDH and Horizon Hoist. Are there any new product offerings later this year in 2022, or what's on the horizon?
Oh, we're always, I'm always trying to think of new and better things to put out there that might be able to help in the industry. At Nashville, we did display a rig down there that had a new style winch on it that actually is used to put like the bore line hose in down a hole and pulling it. That was taken over, well received. That was a big hit at the show, and we've actually sold a couple units from the show of guys that really like the concept of where that was going. And I'd like to say it was my idea. I've seen the bore line when I was in the business, but there was never a good way to put it in the ground or pull it back out when you needed to. And had actually a contractor here in Texas, Jim Blair, reached out to me and asked me if I would, he had an idea and asked me if I'd build it. And I said, sure. I said, give me your thoughts and ideas and let's put it together. And so we built one and went down there, and him and I pulled and set, several pumps with it and stuff. And at first I was pretty skeptical, but after pulling and setting a few, I became a firm believer. I would definitely have one on my rig today if I was out there doing it. That's for sure. So, and it's cool because he still has a normal TDH pump hoist that he can go pull a PVC well or a galvanized well with all day, or he can pull that pump out and install the bore line or the flexible hose with the same rig. So that's really, actually, when he came to me, he was like, can you just build a winch on the back of a pickup bed that'll install this hose? I said, yeah, I can do that, but you're still going to have to take two service trucks to a pump job, and that that's not very economical. And he was thinking from an economical standpoint. And so I said, I think we got room on our hoist to put a reel on, and it actually worked out. And he's been super happy with it so far. Actually ordering another truck with one on there right now. So that's how good he likes it so far.
Yeah.
So
awesome to hear. And you mentioned the recent move to your new facility in Rhome, Texas. What are the goals for TDH and Horizon Hoist moving forward for you?
Gosh, now that we have this manufacturing facility, I've put a lot of pictures and shown different stuff on the water well guys and stuff. We were so blessed by finding this place. We had looked at a lot of facilities, but they didn't have overhead cranes, and we knew we needed a bigger space. And this ended up being just up the road, so it didn't affect my employees at all. That was our biggest goal, setting out to find a bigger building, because we knew we needed to expand quite a bit just with all the growth. And we found this place. It's got 17 overhead cranes in it, and it gives us. We're going to start manufacturing a lot more bigger rigs, because at the other facility we didn't push it very hard because we were just landlocked. We just didn't have the room to put those big rigs and stuff in there, and now we do. So you'll still be seeing a lot coming out of TDH here in the next couple of years, I promise.
Well, thanks for your time today, Scott. This has been really informative. Really appreciate it, and good luck the rest of the day.
I really appreciate you reaching out to me and wanting to do this. I'm pretty passionate about water and all the guys and everything out there, and it's a blessing to work in this industry. I don't know how you could pick a better family-owned, tight-knit group of guys and stuff. And I've gotten to, a lot of these guys I've gotten to be really good friends with, that I never knew before. And it's been really cool. Places I've got to travel all over the U.S. and go watch guys use our rigs, and trying to come up with, when guys see the potential that we and the things we can do with our electric over hydraulic and swabbing programs and baling programs and brush cleaning stuff and everything, they start getting ideas, and they'll call me up and go, "Hey, you think we can do this?" And like, absolutely. If we can accomplish it, I'll put it on there and see if we can try it, because if it helps you, it's going to help somebody else out there, and it might be something that helps us sell another rig. So it's been a really cool deal.